Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A Mercedes kind of sentiment, luxury and trust in me to honor the free. We all should be. It sees my sundial burst into yin and yang, right and left, me and you.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Tattness Podcast. I know I've said this many times, and I'm going to say it again for those that aren't aware of what's been going on. I appreciate y'all being so patient with this little hiatus. As some of you may know by now, the documentary filming has wrapped, and we're just kind of doing the whole post-production thing, and it's been really cool, man. So I appreciate everybody's patience. I know, putting the show out has been kind of lower on the priority list because of how hectic things have been. There's just been no time. And, just recently my grandfather who raised me had passed, and so I just didn't feel like it was the right time to do a show, and you know what I mean? And it just felt the timing would have been not great, making light of that situation or something, and it was just too much. So I appreciate everybody that's reached out, that heard about that, and had some very kind things to say. Appreciate y'all, man. You guys are the best. So, not to bring anyone down, I just wanted to explain why I've been away for a little bit. So we're going to get into some cool shit and kind of discuss a few things. I got to address something that's been going on recently, just because I'm an opinionated fuck, and I come from a place where I can speak on this shit. Before we get into, how the documentary filming went and all that bullshit, fuck, man. People need to lay off my boy, Herb Dean. You probably don't know, Blue, what the fuck's going on.
No, I don't.
But UFC's had some controversy lately with referee Herb Dean fucking allegedly giving a fucking delayed end to the fight. And I have to tell you, I've seen some shit with social media. Isn't it always fucking social media? Mm-hmm. All these armchair athletes. I think it's well documented by now. There's people that are listening to my shit right now because I'm a fucking MMA fighter. Mm-hmm. I'm a professional fucking fighter. So let me clear his good name. The guy did nothing wrong, period. If you pay attention to the video, which I've watched it over and over, it's quite clear that he didn't feel the need to protect somebody who showed that he's aware of his surroundings. He's aware that he's being encroached upon by somebody that obviously means to do him fucking harm. His head is up. He's got his arms out to create distance. Let me tell you, dude, if I ever found myself in that position as a fighter and I got put down in any way, shape, or form, yeah, dude got rocked by a punch. He went down. He was stunned, but he had his both arms out, put his leg out to keep distance. And, he looked like he needed to fucking kind of get his bearings a little bit. But if that was me in his situation, maybe he wanted the fight to fucking be ended, and I respect that.
Yeah.
But if that was me in that position, I got rocked like that, and I went down for the first fucking time in ever, because it hasn't happened yet. But I'm gonna say, I know my pride would be the reason why I could speak on this, even though it's not happened yet. Mm-hmm. If I was to get rocked and fucking dropped like that, I would know that if my arms are out and I'm aware of the situation and I'm kind of keeping a distance, I have the wherewithal to keep a distance between me and the opponent. Mm-hmm. If you stop that fucking fight based on that, we're going to have words. Mm-hmm. I'm not taking my first loss because of that shit.
No.
That's fucked up. In this case, it's just dude kind of wanted the fight to end then and there. He knew he was beaten, and that's fine. I get that. But you can't anticipate that the ref would know that. And within seconds is going to pick up on that and make that call and then cause a problem. And I saw Herb's response, and I think it was a classy response. I think he was nail on the head. If you're in the industry, you fucking know that everything he said is correct. There are two people that are able to yell, stop the fight. Not some random that's fucking supposed to be doing commentary or whatever. Not the guy selling fucking peanuts or whatever the fuck, you know? It's gotta be either the medical fucking practitioners that know better than you, or the fucking, you know, like, there's designated people, dude. Mm-hmm. And so, for people to lash out at him and call this disgraceful and all this, I challenge you. Go do better. Go be a ref. Act like you know something. And take your fucking so-called expertise, your armchair expertise, and fucking go to UFC and become a ref. And see how many athletes want to tear your fucking head off because you didn't stop a fight when you should have, or you stopped it when you shouldn't have. It's a lot more difficult than it appears, I assure you. Mm-hmm. You know, so let's ease up on Herb, man. Herb's a good guy. He's a very good guy. And he doesn't deserve all this fucking backlash for, you know, from these armchair athletes that have never fucking actually fought ever. You know, it's social media. It's randoms. It's not my fans. It's fucking just random people. So I'm not lashing out at my fans, or don't fucking twist it. It's just random people that, you know, I get it. And let me be the first to say, against my own argument here, that at the same time, the opponent, fucking good on him. What a class act. He actually did not want to, you know, he stopped what he's doing. And, like, this guy obviously does not want to get hit again. Mm-hmm. And then when a few seconds go by and the fight's not being stopped, he takes a few more fucking punches, you know, and opportunities to throw some punches because he thought the fight continued. But once Herb realized, like, yo, when Herb realized that this guy doesn't want to participate anymore, he wants the fight stopped, that's when he stopped it. So the guy took 3 or 4 fucking more punches, but they weren't, like, you know, enough to put him out. No. It was just to keep the fight going. Just to get those points on the board kind of deal for the judgment. And were they necessary? Debatable. But I think so. If you feel like the fight is going to continue, if this guy's going to get to his feet and the fight is still on, you're going to want those few 3 or 4 fucking more punches in to kind of keep him a little bit on the dazed side, or at least, you know, the mind factor of fucking with his mind and making him feel he's already lost. I understand that completely, but he was a class act. He held dude's arm and was, like, hesitant to throw another punch because he's like, this guy obviously doesn't want to get hit again. This guy obviously fucking is kind of wanting to throw in the towel, but nobody's doing it on his behalf. So hats off to him. Very much respect for that kind of display. I think that was brilliant. I think he's a true competitor with class. I think he's a sportsman that has sportsmanship. He knows what the fuck he's doing. And you don't see enough of that. No. You know me, I get really pissed when I watch footage back of guys that, when a dude's clearly out, they take a couple more fucking swings at the jaw, and I get fucking so pissed, because there's no need for it.
No, it's unnecessary, and it's excessive.
Especially when there's, like, the classy guys that see the guys out, and they hold back, and they're like, nope, they put their arms up, and now he's done. He's done. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't need to hit him again. Ref, look, he's done. Like, I don't fucking need to punch this guy again. Because those are the cats that know, like, we don't need these unnecessary head injuries, man, that are doing a lot more damage than we like to give credit for with the CTE and all that shit happening. They're very aware, and I think that it's really classy to see these guys know when to draw the line. I get it, the heat of the fucking moment. Trust me, I get it. I fucking worked that career, dude. I get it. And I get sometimes you're not going to be sure in the heat of the moment you're going to fucking take another swing. But there's the guys that, like, fucking, obviously, Ray Charles could see the guys out, and they swing 4 fucking 5 more times just to ensure, with hammer fist, no less. That's unfucking necessary. That's excessive. Yeah, that's unnecessary. That's not cool. Mm-hmm. That's hurting people that don't need to be hurt.
No.
And I think that's a dick move.
I agree with you 110%.
So let's leave Herb Dean alone. He's a great guy, I promise you. He meant no harm. And it was just a confusing moment. And, you know, you don't really expect guys. It's not too often that guys are just like, yeah, I'm conscious, but I just don't want to continue. I'd rather just take the loss.
And call it in.
I think with CTE as well, guys are getting a little more aware that there's a time when you can draw that line and not take unnecessary blows to the head. So I think that's wise, and I think it's becoming a little more common, and it's an adapting process to get used to guys being willing to just say, you know what, he got the better of me, and this won't end well. I can't recover in a way that's going to make me competitive, and I don't exactly desire to be knocked the fuck out, so let's just call it a night. And, I mean, I'm in the game, man, and as a ref, I still fucking wouldn't know that that's what he was signaling. He was keeping a smart distance in every way he could. He showed cognitive, awareness of where he's at, what's happening, and to create that distance, putting his leg out to keep that guy fucking away from him, put his arms out. His head was up. He's not fucking, out. So let's just not be so critical, especially if you're not in the fucking industry. You don't know what it's like. I think social media just creates this ability to lash out at people for no fucking good reason. Everybody thinks they're an expert because they read a few things. Get in the fucking octagon, do what we do, and then talk shit. You know what I mean? It's a game changer. You'll probably have a newfound respect for what the hell happens. So let's not be so critical, because at the end of the day, these are people too. And Herb Dean is a fucking great guy who, I think, like I said, he responded to his criticisms, and he responded with class. He didn't lash out. He didn't show any kind of disrespect. In my view, I would have been a lot more hostile, to be honest, if I was in his position. I would have been like, fuck all you motherfuckers. But he handled it with class. He educated people, and he didn't seem offended. So I guess he knows you got to have a thick skin.
Of course.
I'm just kind of wired that way, that you
get passionate about something.
I do.
You need to speak out, and you have to, because who else will?
It was a good fight, though. And I just think people are getting bored, and now they're focusing too much on things that they don't know enough about to really speak on it. But again, social media is a platform where you don't have to be educated to just run your mouth. And not everyone does that, but there are those select few, of course. So let's just give the guy a break. He's a great guy. He meant no fucking harm, and I still feel he didn't really do anything wrong. I think he stayed within, because he asked after the fact, who the fuck yelled that? Was it a practitioner that is qualified? No, wasn't me. Was it the corner of the guy that's down? No, wasn't us. Was it fucking, any other refs or fucking anybody that can make that decision? No. So then what the fuck? Because commentators are there to do a job. And they can have opinions. But their opinions don't affect the industry. Just like you go to your 9 to 5. And you have an opinion on your supervisor. Maybe he's a fucking dick. And 10 of you people think that he's a dick. But does he lose his job because y'all don't like him? Nah. If his manager don't like him, he's fucking gone. You know what I mean? So that's the way it works across the board. Come on, guys. So don't let a commentator that maybe said some shit, being compassionate, no less. I'm sure. I'm sure he felt that it was the right call to make to end the fight. And I respect that. I think he was looking out for the best interest of the guy who clearly, from his angle, he had the greatest angle to see that guy's body language indicated he does not want to continue. But Herb Dean's fucking angle did not show that. What his angle was the guy's back that was trying not to punch him again. He had to angle around to see that this guy is clearly not wanting to continue.
No.
Then he made the decision. It's not like he let this go on 5 more minutes.
No.
So I just don't understand all the hostility with some of the, I understand the criticism, sure. The concerns. But But the people that are being extremely harsh and critical and just being disrespectful, I don't understand that.
No, it's not necessary.
No, that's what I mean, right? Is that that kind of thing I don't commend at all. I think that's unnecessary. I think that's losing sight of the fact that this is a human being as well who's doing the best he can. And I think people just need to calm the fuck down. You know, if you're not in MMA, if you've never fought a day in your life professionally, then I just don't feel like, you know, you have the experience to speak on that in such critical ways that you're being offensive to somebody. And it's not one of those being a Karen and fucking, oh, that's offensive. It's just, like, don't be a fucking cunt to people.
Exactly.
How's that for fucking offensive? I know people hate that word, but that's what I view some of these assholes as being an absolute fucking cunt. So don't think I got soft. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's just, there's no need to be a fucking right cunt to somebody because you disagree with their fucking decision making for, like, literally a few seconds. It just doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, again, if you're a fucking professional and you have an opinion on it, I respect that. Because you know. And I understand that you're coming from a place of, like, I wouldn't want to take 3-4 more fucking punches to the fucking face that were unnecessary. But you also fucking know the way things work sometimes. You understand the situation of the refs. Am I wrong?
Not at all.
So, but if you're some fucking fat ass in an armchair... You know, like, I could do better.
Go right ahead.
Really? Lift something and then do better. And I'm not fat shaming, you fucks. I'm just saying, you all know somebody's drunk uncle that wants to get on social media and be like, you're a piece of shit. You should have stopped that fight fucking, like, 3 days ago. Like, really? It was like 5 fucking 10 seconds tops of uncertainty. You know, like, uncertainty about... fucking, you know, indecision, uncertainty about whether or not this guy wants to continue or he wants this fight to end. Mm-hmm. So let's not be fucking assholes, and let's be a little more understanding that in the heat of the moment and from different angles, we don't see things the same way the camera picks shit up.
No, we don't.
And at the end of the day, you're criticizing a professional that fucking has been registered to make those decisions. Have you?
No.
You know what I'm saying? So shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Like, hell, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to go into a courtroom and be like, yeah, I'm going to defend this person in that. I don't have a place in that.
Yeah, there's no evidence here. How the fuck would you know? You know? Come on. Come on.
I think it's like you said, going back, people are just bored these days, you know? And, like, let's face it, social media, the internet's so accessible. So people see that and like, oh, I'm going to go get involved in that. And they feel like they're doing justice, I would say.
Yeah, everybody's got a soapbox now. And it's like, that's great if you have something educated to fucking say. But...
that's when you don't.
When you're not in the industry, so you don't fucking know. You know, I love football. I'm an Eagles guy, by the way. And, you know, I could say that there's some calls that I'm like, oh, that hurt. But... I'm not a fucking NFL ref.
No.
So I'm not going to fucking sit there and be like, that guy's a fucking idiot. You know, I may not love the call. Maybe it didn't work in my favor. Maybe it fucked me out of seeing my team win. But he was there. I wasn't. I got the TV camera angle. He was on the field. And still, they're not going to be perfect. They're humans. Mm-hmm. But if you ain't perfect either, then... it's kind of a moot point, you know? So, I don't know. Let's just not be dicks. Herb Dean's a really great guy, and I think that he's handling the backlash very well. But I think it's undeserved. I think people are being overly critical to the point you would think he, like, bitch slapped their mom or some shit.
Yeah.
Man. Like, fuck. You know? Give the guy a fucking break. He's a really nice guy. Mm-hmm. And he meant no harm. And he was doing his job the best of his ability, and he made the right call, to be honest, until he got confirmation that this guy did not want to continue. And, you know, he was able to continue, he just didn't want to. Fine. That's unusual. That's a, you know, rare circumstance, but it fucking happens, and he was accommodated. Yeah, maybe a couple extra punches got thrown that weren't necessary, but they weren't, like, fucking enough to knock the guy out. It was just kind of padding to keep the fight going if it had to continue. Let's not overreact. So, that being said, I feel better now after I got that out of my system, because it's just like, y'all motherfuckers don't even lift weights, let alone fight professionally, and you got so much to say. Come on, man. And again, not my fans. It's the fucking randoms on social media and shit that just, You got something to add to this, or?
Not really, because, like, I wasn't even aware of the situation in that, but...
But you know my career, so you know how things go. That's why you're able to contribute.
True. But it's just like you said, like, you know, if you don't have the proper expertise in that or something educated to say, just don't say anything at all.
That, you know, I mean, that's asking a lot. I know people are still going to talk shit.
Well, it's human nature, right? Just to have a discussion. There's nothing wrong with a healthy discussion about a situation.
I mean, it comes down to, like, people that are never fucking saying a note because they know that they're tone deaf. But they'll be the first to say, oh, this musician sucks. Okay, well, when your music video comes out and it's like 18 times better, then I'll bow to you, bro. And I'll be like, good on you. You called it, you know? Mm-hmm. Or, this movie sucks. This director's trash. Okay, direct better. Come out with a fucking movie. You know? Mm-hmm. Come out with a fucking script that doesn't blow. You know? Do something. Otherwise, have fun at your fucking 9 to 5 on Monday. Mm-hmm. You know? Like, I don't understand it. I have my opinions on shit, too, but it's usually in fields, like, I'm experienced in. Mm-hmm. And if I don't like something, I'm going to say it wasn't for me, but I'm not going to be like, oh, they're talentless. Okay, well, they're making fat stacks of money doing the shit, so obviously somebody digs it. Just because it's not your cup of tea doesn't fucking mean that they have no skill. So I think people need to chill the fuck out, but it's a big ask, you know?
It is, let's face it.
It really is. It's asking a lot. I know, trust me, I'm the most opinionated motherfucker that has his own show, I'm sure. I will take challenges, by the way. Mm-hmm. If anyone wants to challenge me on that, I'm an opinionated cunt. Mm-hmm. But I catch myself sometimes, and I call myself out on it, because I don't want to be hypocritical, but we have our moments. We're humans. We fucking are hypocrites by nature. We'll call someone out for doing something, and we'll fucking catch ourselves doing the same thing. Look at parenting. Prime example. Do as I say, not as I do, right? So I'll be the first, so before you try to comment and be like, you're a hypocrite. I know. It comes with the territory of being human, but at least I'm aware of it and I try to catch it and I try to correct it. Can half these motherfuckers say that? That I get on social media and talk shit for no reason just to spit some venom and be hostile? I don't think so. No. Anyways, I addressed earlier, you weren't here, that my grandfather who raised me passed, so I kind of didn't feel it was the right move to kind of jump on a show anytime soon, and I just didn't want to feel like, you know, the timing wasn't great, or that I was rushing things or making light of the situation by trying to have fun on the show. So I did what I had to do, and I appreciate everybody that reached out. That was really cool. Mm-hmm. And
giving you some privacy and respect.
Yeah, man, everyone's really great like that. But filming wrapped of the documentary.
Yep.
How fucked up was that?
Oh my god, that was crazy. I know a lot of things, you know, like happened during the course of the filming, and that kind of set things back, and, you know, but man, it was so much fun.
Yeah, maybe for, you know, other people. I enjoyed some of it. I had fun when I could, but it's so, like, I don't know, there's stuff that didn't even make it to the fucking, that's so dark.
Yeah.
And having to go through it again, like, dude, I'm gonna not bullshit anybody here. I have flipped tables, I've fucking just lost my shit on, like, the whole thing. Having to relive a lot of the fucking shit that I've gone through, and, you know, it made me realize that a lot of things that I thought I've worked past had been sleeping. They've been dormant. And it just awoke a lot of stuff in me that I had to deal with then and there on camera. And you know, I don't want to make it sound so dramatic that people are going to see it and be like, wow, this wasn't nearly as fucked up as I thought. It's just, you know, 90, like, how do you fit 37 years in 90 minutes?
You really can't.
It's fucking hard, dude, but I did it.
You did. I mean, a lot of things had to be cut that they'll probably be placed in the extras.
Yeah, I'm going to get into depth in the extras because I don't want to mislead anybody and make them feel like this whole thing was super heavy, and then it's like, oh, there's some heavy shit, but I thought there's going to be much darker. I'll add to that, and I'll put in the extras, like the stories about the dark shit. So then it's justifiable that I flipped tables and I fucking screamed a lot and just kind of not directed necessarily at anybody involved. It's just, it was me going through what I needed to go through, I think, to kind of get it out of me and be able to move on and grow and heal, essentially. There's a lot of dark shit in my history that, you know, I had to overcome. I had a lot of abuse in my fucking life that, you know, caused me to be able to, you know, successfully go into MMA because I don't fucking feel pain anymore because of the abuse, you know what I mean? And, so it just worked out. It made sense. It all worked out for a reason. It's just when you suppress things and you kind of repress everything and push it down and bottle it up and whatever, eventually you think it's dormant. You think it's like done and dealt with, but it's just sleeping, and then it comes out and
it just rears its ugly head.
And then you have to deal with it. You know what I mean? You have to kind of confront it. And then you're going through loss while filming. It's like, it's such a bizarre feeling to be talking about my grandfather, how he raised me, some kind of hilarious fucking stories about him, and what a wonderful human being he is. And then fucking just after wrapping that segment, he passes in his sleep. And it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's just unreal. And then you try to stay busy. You try to, you know, get your mind off of it and not think too much like I tend to do. There's so many things in that fucking documentary I haven't added yet that I think will go in the extras. But I'll put it out here is like the fact that I don't let people, like, I don't let a lot of people close to me because I'm always afraid they'll go away. I'm always afraid they'll leave. So it's really hard for me to kind of let people in. And, you know, I think it shows in the documentary quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I think just based on what's been discussed in the documentary and, you know, so I think people will understand that, maybe relate to it in many ways. It's not about being famous and, like, you know, fucking I'm too good for everybody. It's quite the opposite.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You know, it's actually quite the opposite. It's being petrified that, like, yeah, I'm going to get attached to somebody and then they're going to leave like everyone else does. They either die or they fucking just walk away. You know, you lose your novelty and they're like, this was fun and now I'm going to go find something shinier to play with. And, you know, loss is kind of the theme of my life, as this documentary shows. And, you know, it was heavy, but it was a cool experience. Not gonna bullshit. It was fun in many ways. It was exhausting. It was tiresome. There was days I really didn't feel like doing anything. To be honest, I didn't want to film. I held some shit up myself by not wanting to fucking do this anymore. Like, there was times I was literally close to scrapping the whole thing and just saying, I'm going to have to apologize to all my fans and just be like, it's not happening. But then I was like, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. Because it's not just about me anymore. This is Madden's story, too. And I have to put it out there, so I don't know. What was your experience doing this fucking thing?
It was, you know, it was a lot of hard work, but it was a lot of fun, and it was just so, there was times when, you know, we all cried and laughed, you know, at stuff going on. And it's like you said, a lot of old wounds were opened up, and some things that, you know, even I, you know, you know, the relationship I had with you and stuff you told me that I didn't know, and it was like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah, I remember you seeing a couple times seeing the the piece about Madden, and you cried like a baby, and it made me laugh every time, because it was like, you contributed to this piece, and then when you see it done,
like pieced together,
once the edit was all done, and they really, like, it all came together, they'll really see what it was. But it broke you a few times.
It did, and I'm like, stop doing this to me.
I found it so hard to deal with that I got numb to it. By necessity. I think self-preservation. There comes a point where you just can't let yourself be hurt anymore.
No.
Because you don't think you can take it anymore, and you just become numb to it.
Yeah.
It's a weird, eerie acceptance, I guess.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know right now, but if anyone hears like a weird sound in the background, it's the air blowing at me, because it is hotter than the devil's dick out here. And for all my American fans, I assure you, yes, it does happen in Canada. I know I just blew your fucking mind. It's not winter all year round around here. It is fucking stupid hot. Like,
uncomfortable.
Like, it's not exactly Arizona, but it's pretty Florida-ish.
Yeah, very humid in that.
Yeah.
I mean, and looking outside right now, it's cloudy, but still, like, when you're indoors and that, and you have electronics going, it just generates heat.
That does happen up in this bitch. I ain't got no AC in the studio, son, so, my bad if you hear the fans blowing, but it is what it is, and I ain't trying to die today, so...
No. Or get a heat stroke, anything for that matter. Oof.
It sucks, and it's like, I don't want to dehydrate like a motherfucker. And I know I probably blew your mind and pissed on your fucking parade if you think that Canada's winter fucking 24/7, 365. I assure you, it's actually fucking far from it. But I know some of y'all fucking believe that shit.
The stereotypes.
It's funny, isn't it?
It is.
And I figured it out that one show when I talked about the fucking difference in degrees, Celsius and Fahrenheit. Over here, it was like 90-something fucking Fahrenheit. So I'm like, y'all gotta appreciate that. When I said it's X amount of fucking degrees here at the moment, which was ridiculously hot. It's like 90-something Fahrenheit for you American fans. So, like, you can appreciate that sucks. You can fucking appreciate that somebody's gonna do some sweating today. So, it's another one of those fucking days.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying not to die, so... I'm just trying to keep the heart beating a little bit, keep the pulse going, and if that means that you hear a little bit of a fucking weird fan sound or whatever, sorry.
Yeah.
But,
bear with us. We just don't want to, die on set,
I want to get the fucking show back on track, and I can't do that if I'm dead, so...
Exactly. So, hey, as much as I love summer myself, sometimes these days when it's just so hot, it's like, I'm over this.
And I love summer. I will take this over freezing my balls off any day. I ain't trying to freeze my yam bag off. Get your balls stuck to the porch like the dog from Joe Dirt.
Oh, God.
I'm good on that.
Get some Pam on that son of a bitch.
I'm good on that. I would rather the heat. But back to the documentary, instead of talking about my balls, I ain't Derek Lewis, my balls is hot, but, that's his shit. So that's his shtick at this point. With the documentary, I just want y'all to know, because everyone keeps asking, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, it's on the Tattness fucking YouTube channel. It's coming out probably mid-August, if everything goes well. It's going to get a little polishing and whatnot.
Final comb over.
For quality purposes. So we'll have the editing done and have them do all that bullshit and make sure that it is as good as it's going to get. And it's been cool, man. Everyone's been very supportive of it, and I appreciate everybody that was involved from the UK, from the US, from all fucking sorts of places. I appreciate y'all for fucking being a part of it.
And contributing.
Yep. Yeah, man, I love y'all for doing that and your kind words. And, man, if I do another thing like that, I'm going to get some fans in on it. I think I'm going to give them an opportunity to kind of be in on it and give back, you know, get them some exposure as well, and have them kind of promote whatever they got going on. And I think it'd be cool.
Absolutely.
So mid-August-ish on tattnessco.com. It will be available on DVD. Some people have asked, will I be signing copies? Abso-fucking-lutely. There's no extra charge, no nothing. If you want it signed, I am more than happy to do that. I appreciate that compliment. You know, in spite of all I've fucking accomplished, I'm not a stuck-up dude. I don't expect people to want me to sign shit. So, if people ask me for that, that's a compliment. I'm happy to do it. It's not going to cost more. I'm not going to make it like some special edition where you pay more fucking money.
No.
That's ridiculous. You know? Give back to your fans and don't expect anything in return. You know, fucking, they've given you enough support. Don't fucking charge them extra for you to flick your wrist a couple times and sign something. It's stupid.
I know. And, you know, I think that's awesome that you're going to do that. I know an example, when WWE 2K20 came out and they were giving away, you said, those metal plaques signed. Yeah. And I guess there was a whole big mix-up with all that. And it was Edge who said he'd personally sign, you know, no charge, people who got their collector plates and they weren't signed, and I thought that was awesome of him.
But they were already paid for. You know, they paid the extra for that fucking special. Not to knock Adam. I mean, he's a great guy.
Yeah. But I thought it was awesome he went out of his way to help rectify the situation and give the fans what they paid for. Right,
because he could have said, well, that's the company's fucking issue.
Not my problem.
Like, the 2K games just, they really fucking dropped the ball on that game, man. That whole thing was a nightmare. But you know, I just don't believe in charging extra because you sign something. If I was to go to, like, a convention or something, I'm not going to fucking charge people for me signing something. That's ego-driven.
Or taking pictures.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Like, I'm not knocking anyone that does that. I'm sure they have the reasons. They're trying to collect their fucking, like...
Trying to make a living.
Their expenses, and they're not doing much anymore. Their flight expenses. I get that. I totally do. But, I don't know. I'm just not wired that way. I'm just grateful for all the support I've had, and, you know, when I took time away from my career to fucking deal with my son's condition and then his passing and whatever, you know, I took time to grieve, and these fans just did not let me go to the wayside and feel like I'm not relevant anymore. They stayed up on everything I've done, and I appreciate the fuck out of that. Because they didn't have to. I mean, these days a lot of people have the attention span of a fucking walnut. So they want the next best thing, and, you know...
And if they don't get it, like, yesterday, they're like, I'm done with this.
Right, and, you know, they stuck by me, and they really sympathized with what was going on in my life, and I feel like that's family. That's, you know, how family should be. So even if I've never met these people, they're family to me. Am I going to fucking hose family? Like, you want me to sign that for 3 seconds that it takes me to flick my wrist like twice? Nah, I'm going to charge you for that. Fuck that bullshit. I'm happy to give that, or pictures, or whatever. I've never taken anyone's money for that kind of thing, and trust me, there's a lot of those now. And I've never taken a dime for it, and I never will. I just don't believe in it. And I'm not knocking anyone that does. They have their reasons, and that's great. And, I mean, I got a lot of fucking friends, as you know, that are celebrities as well that, you know, I'm not going to name drop or whatever, because I don't want to make you salty. But
I know this, so but I won't say anything.
They may take money at conventions. I don't know. That's on them. And I'm sure they have their reasons, and that's fine. It's a business to them. They're not, especially in the horror community, where the horror actors that, like, do a lot of horror movies and shit, and then, you know, it's recast and whatever, and they're not necessarily doing the job anymore. They got to make ends meet. They have families to provide for. I understand that. Mm-hmm. And people are happy to pay. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I feel like dirty. If I give people money because they really need it and they're close friends of mine or whatever, when they try to pay me back, I feel dirty. Even like I won't take it. I'm like, no, it's a gift. I don't do loans. That was a gift. Mm-hmm. Just because like I feel filth even just taking money from somebody that I know they would rather have it. You know, even though they know they're just paying off a debt, I know that when it comes down to it, they would rather have that money because fuck knows, like, they need it. And I didn't, I never, so it's like, I'm not going to charge fucking strangers that supported my career even more money to come and show that they supported my career. It just seems weird to me. I don't know. It's my perspective.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's really all it comes down to is just my weird perception of things, I guess. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a giving person, I guess, in that sense. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke at my own ass. I'm soft-hearted like that in a weird way, to a fault.
Nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, that's one of the things I know a lot of people admire about you and myself too. And it's so rare. You don't see that often at all, if any. Because
people get taken advantage of. I have, like, time and time again. But, I don't know. I would rather be taken advantage of or have someone try to take advantage of me and have me catch it and be like, nice try, rather than be suspect of everybody, like view everybody as suspicious and, just not trust anybody and take from everybody whatever I can get. It's just wrong. Money's not everything. I know people can be like, "Oh, it's easy to say that when you made so much of it." Yeah, I get that, but trust me, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. Watch the documentary. I've been homeless at 15 and didn't have a dime to my fucking name. So, trust me, I've been on both sides of the coin, and money is not everything. I assure you. So I'm not going to take it from people that have much less than I ever fucking did. I don't know. I just don't like it. That's my personal shit, though. Mm-hmm. I'm not, like I said, nothing wrong with the people that do. They have their reasons. They have their ends to meet. They got to make ends meet and fucking...
They have bills they need to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. Their living situation is probably much different than mine or anybody else's. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just my personal shit. I just feel weird about taking money from people that have already shown me so much love and support. To me, that's more important than the money. Is they've made me feel like I matter to them, mm-hmm. and even if they've never met me before and that's the first time or whatever, they're always so nice. They're always so cool, and I'm like, how could I take your money? Mm-hmm. Especially for something as simple as a picture, like,
yeah, or
sign something for you or whatever. It's like, you guys are so cool to me. Like, I can't ask for more from you. It's fucked up. And if you offer it, I'm gonna be like, no, that's nonsense. This is me. Mm-hmm. That's just who I am. I don't know. Maybe it's fucked up. Maybe it's weird. Maybe it's soft or whatever the fuck people want to call it. But I don't know. I like to think I'm a pretty down to earth cat. And I just like to meet people.
Absolutely. And hear, what their life story is and their experiences.
Hey, man, we all have similar stories. Like, I think my fans are people that can relate to my story. And they love to come to me and be like, I went through something similar. And I'm totally interested in hearing it because I see that they're happy, they're healthy, they're in front of me. They obviously overcame the shit. And I love that shit. Mm-hmm. And that shit, they say that I motivated them. And it's like, yo, you motivated me by telling me this story, because then I'm like, I was right to overcome because you're standing in front of me. It's not a fluke. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It wasn't just my situation. Overcoming can happen to anybody if they choose. So I love that. I love to see people doing well and saying, I can relate. And, people say, oh, you motivated me or inspired me. And it's like, it's not that... some of them are older than me a lot of the time. So it's not that they were going through it at the same time I was. It's just, I think it, like, to them, it makes them feel validated, like, you've proven that me coming through was not a fluke. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And look where you became, like, this big name and shit. So I still have a chance at doing that in whatever field, you know? And I love that.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. I think age has nothing to do with anything. I think it's experience. Mm-hmm. And if we can connect based on experience, I think if we all tried, we'd find that we all have a lot more in common than we think. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody's life's perfect.
Well, no. There's no such thing. Even if someone, like, tries to sell that their life is perfect, they're hiding something.
Even somebody born into, like, a stupid rich family...
Or privileged, all that good stuff.
Right. Probably has the same experience as me, as, like, money was more important than time. So they didn't really have a bond with that family. And money was thrown at everything in lieu of, you know, having time. And we did well, but we weren't, like, stupid rich. But we never went without anything. Mm-hmm. But then I went off and made a name for myself. And fucking, you know, I also did that from the street, you know, and a lot of poverty along the way.
Mm-hmm. And hard times.
Trying to make it on my own, with little to no help, not a lot of jobs, you know, and so I can relate to, like, all types of struggle. I'm not, like I said, I'm not blowing sunshine up my own ass here. It's literally just comes down to being able to relate to all aspects of people's lives and struggles. I've been there. I know a few things about that, and I know that because of that, I know wealth is not the most important thing. Having that connection with people actually is way more important to me than the money, because it just helps me realize how connected we all really are through the struggle.
Yeah.
Life was not designed to be easy for any fucking one of us.
Of course not. If it was, imagine how boring life would be if it was just a breeze, walk in the park, easy.
We would never grow as people. We'd never be strong. We'd never get, you know, develop strength. We'd never fucking have any kind of integrity or character. I lived on the streets at 15 and it sucked, and I thought I was going to die for sure over time. But it built character. It made me flip a switch one day and say, I could die here doing this, or I could suck it up, go work a fucking factory job that's physical with no sleep, and then go back out into the winter cold and fucking try not to die until I get paid. Then I could eat a little better, but still save up to get a place. You know, I had to go through that, and that built fucking character. There got a point, obviously your body fucking wants to give out, and you have to sleep. You have to suck it up. You have to be that guy that finds a sheltered place in the park, lays down, and hopes not to die, and get up every 2 hours, if that, to walk, to build body heat. You know, to keep the, you know, fucking...
The blood flowing.
And hypothermia away. And then when I got up in the mornings, literally, I shit you not, and I want to put this in the extras in the documentary because it's so fucking crucial. It literally felt like being born again, because trying to walk was like being a toddler all over again, learning to walk. My limbs were so frozen that I literally dragged one foot in front of the other until enough blood would flow that I could walk like a normal person. It was really fucking bad. It was so, like, it brings humility. It makes you realize how human you are. And it's humbling, you know, to say the very least. But that was my life at a certain age that, you know, I was so frozen from finally my body not waking up to get heat that when I woke up and I started trying to walk, all I could do was drag my feet and wait till the blood started to flow again just by standing, that I could actually bend my knees and lift my legs, and it was very humbling. It was embarrassing. Yeah. You know, to see people walking by you, walking their dogs, and looking at you like, what is wrong with this person?
Or even saying, hey, are you okay?
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. It's just, it humbles you. And you just gotta make that decision that, like, life has to be better than this. I can't go out like this. And then here we are. So, if I can come through that, man, I think that's the point of the documentary, is if I can come through that, no matter what start you had in life, like I had a shit start from day one. You know, no real parents except for my grandparents kind of stepping in and taking on that role. If I could come through that and become what I am now and, like, succeed the way I have without selling my fucking soul or losing my integrity, like, you guys can do it. And that's the point of this documentary. It's not to, like, make myself look great or whatever. It's actually to inspire people to try. That's it. Just give it your best shot. Like, just try. And I think anybody can do it. So I hope it works that way. I hope it teaches people.
I think it will. I mean, I've watched it with you, like, in its entirety, and during the editing, for quality assurance and that, seeing parts of it piecing together, and I'm like, wow, if I can walk away, and you too, like, just feeling the way I did, like, anything's possible. If one human being can do what you've done, why can't I?
I just hope people feel that way. I hope nobody feels like it's, like, rubbing it in their face, or, like, because I don't really talk about my success much in that, I don't think.
No.
I think it's more talking about the hard stuff. But then touching on, like, hey, at the end of the day, you're watching this because I made it out the other side. So you can too. And it was not fucking easy. But it built character. And I think that's so important. Like, no matter what you're going through right now, you may have an abusive fucking domestic situation, whether it's your parents or a relationship or whatever. It's on you to decide when enough is enough and it's time to walk away. Even if, like when me leaving home at 15, getting out of an abusive home, it felt like it was out of the fucking frying pan into the fire, to be honest, because I had no plan. I just had some money that I knew I'd need to eat. But I had no plan. Like, I didn't fucking anticipate, like, oh, somebody's going to bail me out and give me a place to live for a while or whatever. I needed to be prepared to die, but on my terms. And I chose that over, maybe abuse being the end of me, or suicide, to escape it. I had to leave and look for something better, That's a choice. That's a choice that sometimes, unfortunately, in life we have to really look at and say, okay, what's it going to be? We have to do what's best for us. At the end of the day, it's on us. We are the gatekeepers to our own happiness. And sometimes you have to jump from the frying pan into the fire, come out that fucking fire. Hence the term baptism by fire. You have to become who you are by going through the hardest shit in life. And I never understood that term completely. I knew what it meant. I just didn't really understand how it worked until I put myself from one terrible situation into fucking potentially a worse situation. And, like, I came from an abusive home, but at least there was, guaranteed roof and food. I didn't even have that anymore. So I had to make a choice, and to me that wasn't important. I'd figure it out. And I did. So it also allowed for moments I never would have anticipated, where people showed me what humanity can really look like. Not all of it's abusive or self-centered. Sometimes people reach out and help you that are very decent human beings that you didn't know existed. So I think it's important. I think it's a cool fucking story to those that need it. It's not to make myself look great at all. If anything, it probably does the opposite. But it shows that I came through some shit, and that there's a lot of great people along the way that helped. And I hope that people take that away from this, and hopefully it helps people through their situations.
Right, absolutely, and I feel it will. Like, I felt just so inspired, even, like, not, during the film of the documentary, just, in our own time, just chatting with each other and hearing your stories, like, because I had a good life. I had a family, and I was taken care of, and I still am, to this day. To think, like, wow, everything I had, I'm thankful for, but someone who did have something, similar, but not quite, like you said, you had, like, a roof over your head and food, but at what cost, and was it worth it? It's like you had to do something, otherwise it wouldn't have ended well.
Right. I mean, you had everything I didn't have, and I feel like you didn't get to talk a lot today, but...
Well, this is about your life, not mine. I mean, hey, I'm in it too. I contribute, my own experiences with you that are relevant to your story. But I feel like it's going to be, people are definitely going to appreciate it and take away something with them. And cry. That's for sure. Like I said, like, I can't say it enough.
I feel like you're actually great proof of what I was saying. Is that, like, you had a completely different fucking life than I did. But we still connect on stuff. We still have those, like, commonalities.
Exactly. Like, I was fortunate enough. I had 2 loving parents, who provided for me, supported me in anything I wanted to do, even when I was young, and I'm sure everyone has faced this in their life. When you're at that stage of becoming a child to an adult, like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And they're like, whatever you do, like you've even said, just do it to the best of your ability. But unfortunately, you didn't have that, and there are people out there who didn't.
Right, but, again, I think the key takeaway that I want people to take from this documentary, honestly, is that it's not about... We can't control the cards that we're dealt in life from day one, but it's about how we play those fucking cards. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the cards you're dealt. It's how you play them. Even in poker, somebody could be the worst fucking hand at the table and still win the pot. It's a matter of how they play. They have to have confidence. They have to sell the confidence. And they have to believe in themselves that they got this. And it just works. You know what I mean? So, if you're given a shit start in life, you don't need to worry about the guy that's got the head start, that has everything you don't have. Because those are usually the people that fall behind. They slack. They think, I got such a lead on you that I don't need to try. And you're in survival mode, where all you do is try. So who's going to win that fucking race? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The one that fucking just is hardwired to have to try for everything. Not the one that expects handouts. Not the one that thinks that they're privileged. And the one that always needs to be in survival mode mentally because that's all they know, is the one that takes every opportunity just because you never know. You know what I mean? And secure that future. And I think it inspires other people to do the same in many ways, which is great. I think we all need inspiration. I've had plenty. My big names that inspired me to fucking keep pressing on, to train the way I do, things like that. And in life, and to be more successful, with Schwarzenegger and, people like that. George Chuvalo, Muhammad Ali. I found all these cats were brilliant minds, that if you talk to them, you can learn a lot. If you listen to them, you'll learn even more. So, and that's just a few names, that I find really inspired me to just not quit. So, I think that's why some of us become so successful, because we have to pass that along to the next group of people that really truly need it. That's our purpose in life, is to show them, like, it's not over until we decide it's over. Don't ever fucking decide it's over. Just don't. There's too many people that really would miss you. I battle with suicide too. It's in the documentary, so... And I came out the other side because I stuck around and I fucking lived through it. I became successful because I lived long enough to see that time come, Don't deprive yourselves, because you don't fucking know what tomorrow brings. Mm-hmm. So, before we wrap this bitch up, you got something else to add to that?
No, I think you summed it up perfectly. I just basically want to say, we finished up filming in that. We're going in the final post-production, and I'm looking forward to having this officially launched.
There's a good team on it, man. I'm impressed by everything they do. I'm happy. I'm fucking thrilled. So, I think it'll turn out just fine. And I think people will be pleasantly surprised with it. Mm-hmm. I think people will be happy with it. I think people can learn something from it. And
be inspired.
Hopefully. I hope people take that away from it rather than view it as like, oh, it's self-celebratory. It's quite the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's what people might expect, but it's quite the opposite.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree with you 110%. It's an inspirational story. It'll make you laugh and cry at the same time.
Well, we try to keep it lighthearted as well, because I'm an idiot. I like to have fun.
Oh, yeah, there's a nice surprise in there. I'm not going to say anything else, but there's a surprise in there, a surprise or two.
I appreciate y'all. We're going to try to get this show back on in some kind of consistent schedule now that filming is wrapped. So, we just got to find some shit to discuss. But thanks for hanging in there, man. You guys really fucking just stuck by, and I appreciate it. So, we'll be back with some more shit, and I'll catch your asses later.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.